Wabash County Board of Commissioners meeting for March 16th. First item on the agenda is to review the minutes for March 2nd.
One second.
Motion second for March 2nd. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Community business. First on the list, Brian Swihart, annual grants.
Yes, sir. Morning. I'm just gonna come straight up here to get a couple signatures. So, as you guys know, I'm gonna give you, actually, I'm gonna give you that. So, each year we apply for some grants through the Indiana Support Services and through the Indian Department of Corrections. So annually I come up here, ask for basically this year guys' permission to be able to apply for those grants. I know our community corrections department, other than how much money we bring in project income, that's how we basically fund that required. And then with the affiliation with the finance money, we focus here, we need to just promote commissioners to the county through how much grant money we receive. So just try to eliminate what we can make it. In the 5 Indian Department of Corrections. You guys will approve that. Anyway, I don't need those back today. I will eventually. I just need that front cover.
Yeah. Make a motion that we approve the grant committee funds. For services.
Second, motion second for Vernon for season grant for this year. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same motion carries 3-0.
Thank you guys.
Brian. Next on the agenda is Chris Parker, candidate.
We'll come to this microphone. Okay, very good. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Parker. I'm candidate for Senate District 17, the seat previously held by Andy Zay. I just want to introduce myself to the community, to the community leadership. I find myself saying the same thing in Huntington and Wabash and Grant, the communities that I represent, which is that I'm not a politician. I'm just a guy. I'm a realtor that has a coffee shop over in Huntington. I enjoy making money during the day and spend my evenings and weekends with family. As a candidate, I've spent a lot of my free time driving around the community and listening to the concerns of the citizens. And folks ask me what the basis for my political beliefs is, which is I have a biblical worldview and a lot of accountability to God and my neighbors in that. And so I just believe right is right, wrong is wrong in most circumstances, and I recognize there's a lot of gray areas. I got off my seat, my couch, about 2 years ago when solar came to Huntington and made a pretty big stink about that. And so there's some of the establishment folks that kind of resented that because they wanted to see some things slide through in our community. And I know that as Huntington faced solar, Grant faces data, and Wabash faces carbon sequestration. And I found a lot of these things are just kind of connected. And the Green New Deal kind of ties them together with federal subsidies going to international foreign corporations coming and hoping to take advantage of populations that don't have a lot of money for economic development. So there's a little bit of bait that comes out front, and it's hard to turn down economic development dollars for the community, but recognizing the liability that's placed upon us and what's left is pretty precarious for the community. So I'm somebody that just wants to stand up and fight for that. I believe in home rule. I find with a lot of these decisions on the Green New Deal and then subsequently other things that affect our community, there's a lot of money and power that's being centralized in Indianapolis. It used to be that we'd send representatives to Indianapolis to advocate for our communities and to bring dollars and resources back. And it seems like the script flipped. And now our elected representatives just come back from Indianapolis telling us how it's going to be. And I don't like that. So when we talk about the consolidation of townships, when we talk about the removal of some elected county positions, all the way down to discussions on appointing a sheriff by the governor instead of letting the people elect. I feel like that's wrong. I love everything that keeps the people accountable to the government that we elect and keeping the dollars local. I do believe in economic development, but I believe that that economic development shouldn't come from federal subsidies to foreign corporations. Instead, should be used to draw jobs back to our community, manufacturing, that we should really work hard to protect our agricultural economy here at home. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put on public record my cell phone number for anybody that's in the audience or listening online. My cell phone number is 260-760-4589. If you have any questions, feel free to call. You want to harass me, you can do that too. I'm open to conversation. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, second reading, flood damage prevention ordinance, 126-85-2. Morning, Brian.
Good morning. As most of you know, this floodplain ordinance was put in place by or mandated by the state Department of Natural Resources Division of Water. We had an ordinance in place, or we still have an ordinance in place until this one gets approved, if it does, from 2013. That's the last time it had been reviewed and redone. They gave me a mandate about 6 months ago to work on this and get it done. As a floodplain administrator for the county, I have to deal with that. So this is the ordinance that they sent us. This is sort of a blank ordinance they send to every community. We can tailor it to our needs, which we did. There was a lot of wording in there that we did get reviewed and changed. As far as definitions go, there was quite a few definitions, and then there was names they didn't like the way we said Wabash County, or it was the county of Wabash instead of, and so a lot of that was changed. Other than that, not much really changed as far as the substance goes that was in the actual ordinance compared to what we have now. So I'm just asking for the approval for this for the second reading, so we can get this put in place.
We talked Thursday, Friday, we talked. There's nobody.
We haven't heard anything. We've kept copies in the office in case anybody wants to review it. Nobody's come in and asked. We had a couple of questions at our first reading, which we addressed, and haven't heard anything since. So
I'll make a motion with flood damage prevention ordinance.
Second.
The motion is second for the flood damage prevention ordinance 126-85-02. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Under the same motion carries 3-0.
I had a question. I think I asked this at the first reading, but I'm not sure I worded it the correct way. For the record, none of the boundaries changed, correct? In the floodplain, whatever.
Oh,
already in the
that
floodplain.
that changes every day.
Really?
Oh yeah. The state of Indiana. So the state of Indiana Division of Water is tasked by FEMA to review floodways within Wabash County. The state comes through and does their reviews of ditches and creeks and streams and rivers all the time. And they send that information back to FEMA, who then either approves it or doesn't. The state then redoes their maps. We, as far as our mapping system goes with Beacon, we have that so that it updates when they update. So you won't be able to tell, and it might be little things here and there. We get an email about it, but it might just say Treaty Creek. We don't know where on Treaty Creek it is. We just have to go try to find it if we think we want to.
So
if not,
the ordinance really doesn't have anything
No.
to do with the boundaries.
not with the boundaries.
We're
No,
just coming into language compliance.
exactly. That's all that is.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, Department Reports, County Highway Superintendent. Morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just have two things. Bridge 96 over Hanging Rock. We will be scoring the engineering firms for construction inspection. I'd like to do that after we get back from middle school. So I will correspond with each one of you and we will do that accordingly. The second thing is CCMG. They came back and awarded us funding for our 3 small structures. CivilCon had already provided all of our design. You'd already agreed to that, already signed that contract. The construction estimates before we committed to NDOT, I wanted to rerun those numbers. They came back at 865,000. That's their estimate. That puts our 20% match at 173,000. Construction inspection through CivilCon not to exceed 45,000. That would basically be on an hourly performed work. Puts us local funds needed at 252,000 for those 3 small structures. That's all in the Fountain area. So
Money for it.
Yes.
then I would like to see if you would go ahead and sign our inspection agreement with CivilCon. I think Jeff's in the room. Do you have any questions? There's Jeff. Do you have any questions for Jeff? But then way NDOT's wanting to do this, since they've awarded the funding, they want us to turn this rapidly. I talked to CivilCon on Friday. They'll have it ready for bid in 2 weeks. So once it's bid, then we'll move pretty rapidly with it.
And where are the 3 small structures again? One's outside of the town.
Yes, one's America Road, Kerr Road, and the other one is County Line. So they're all in the LaFountain area. They're all within that same area. So if you're willing, then we have this contract that'll finalize it and everything will go to NDOT and we'll be ready to roll.
Has Mark seen it?
They have not,
Subject to.
subject to Mark's approval. So
Any questions? Commissioners? Any questions in the audience?
Have a repeat on last fall.
yeah, because we already had the contract with CivilCon. Now, we have not paid any design fees on this. They were not going to be paid until we were awarded. So that contract was already signed. Obviously they will submit that to us at 41. So that's 34,000. But our total out of pocket is 252.
Motion with Mark's approval. Motion will second, pending Mark's approval for the new conference grant for CivilCon. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries 3. Next on the agenda, county sheriff. County coordinator, HR director.
Good morning. I have a quote and a proposal from Johnson Controls.
Could you pull the mic? Thank you.
This is in the amount of $3,619.03. This is to replace a check valve in the sprinkler system in the judicial center that has gone bad. This is the second time that it had failed. So somehow it fell through the cracks 5 years ago. But anyway, so I would like to get that. The contract has been submitted to Mark, but he hasn't responded back as to it being approved yet. This was also one that when the fire marshal had came in.
This one on the list for fire marshal.
Yes, this was one that was called out there.
Yeah, what do we have, like 8?
We have 10 altogether. Those are all going to be addressed this week, so.
Yeah, I've seen some of them were kind of small things. but-
Yes, very small.
Yeah.
This is the biggest thing that we had.
Gotcha. Just so that everybody's aware, we had the fire marshal come in last week
Last week.
last week. And we did a inspection and we had a few things that we need to fix. So this is one of those that we fix.
I'll second.
Motion is second to approve Johnson Controls. Yeah,
Do we have a service contract with somebody that,
Johnson Controls.
okay,
this is probably outside the scope of the Gassing replacement.
Yes, they,
I
they,
thought we had a contract with them. I'm just.
Yeah.
Wonder why they didn't catch it before the fire marshal did.
well,
Especially 5 years if we miss them, but.
well, it's a 5-year inspection. And so they had done a 5-year inspection 5 years ago. They did the inspection in January. Typically, when they send me back their inspection, if they find anything, they send a quote with it at that time. I went back and looked at my, report of the inspection and there was no quote attached. And so reached out to Johnson Controls and they're like, no, we really don't know what happened there. So then they've sent the quote. So trying to get that fixed.
Make sure you also see that next time.
Yes.
Any more questions? No motion, so. Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same, motion carries 3-0.
That's really all I have. I do want to know that, with the wind that we had on Friday, we did have some shingles that had, came off of the judicial center. On Saturday, we got someone to come in and repair that, not repair, but kind of, they put tar paper over it, hoping, they will have to come back and measure the roof to get us a quote to do the re-roof. Apparently, from my understanding of it, about 6 years ago, we lost some shingles and it was stated then that the roof needed to be redone. And that wasn't done at that time, so probably need to, I'll get a couple quotes to see about re-roofing that building.
We didn't want to do more of the tomorrow yesterday, did we?
No, I came, stopped on, when I was here on Saturday, I looked and there's a couple that are hanging. They haven't fallen yet.
Marshall.
I need one that's entirely real still. Yeah, as far as we can tell, yes. Didn't sound like
You
it.
text me, and said, it sounds like it's coming off right now.
It's a
So,
little loud.
yeah.
No, we gotta.
Next on the agenda, county auditor.
No. I have your accounts payable claims and allowances for dockets ending 3/9 and 3/16 for your review and approval.
Make a motion to approve the accounts payable and claims for docket ending 3/9/26 and 3/16/26.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, to pay the claims and allowances for document 3/9 and 3/16/2026. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carries 3-0.
I have the payroll claims allowances, including the withholdings for the pay period ending 2/28 for your review and approval.
I'll make a motion for the payroll claim.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, for payroll claims, allowances, and withholdings for pay period ending 2/28/26. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carries 3-0.
I have the non-for-profit agreement for the appropriation that was made for the Livermore Center. This will approve their application for their payments as prescribed. And for the amount of $20,000.
Make a motion to approve the appropriation agreement for the Livermore Center.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Approve the agreement between Livermore Center for $20,000. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Under old business, we had a change order down at the old jail, the health department is in the amount of $7,250. Could you shed a little light on
Yeah, so, with the doors and everything, the additional cost is for some, hardware for the doors, lock sets that are required by ADA requirement and fire codes. So, that's what that is. And it's, then read, it's an additional of $609.66. I'm not looking at that right, am I?
Nope.
Something else. That was 7,000.
7,250.
Sorry.
But you kind of knew we were gonna run into some of these issues down there. I think it's been pretty minimal so far of what we've had on change orders for.
Yeah.
Dustin has been pretty great at making other things work to save some money.
And there was some places where, we discussed pretty, cautiously on what actually needed which types of keys and stuff. But that was a different thing, that's what.
Also got a schedule for Dustin, hopefully May 1st.
Yeah.
Should be completion and then start moving in the health department. Unless something else comes up, which doors should be delivered this week, and then things should really start coming together. Cabinets got installed last week, so starting to look like a health department or a building. Yeah, Dave.
Is there gonna be an additional charge? Are we hiring movers to, I mean, I'm sure they don't wanna take 3 weeks to get moved from one building to the other. Have we given any thought to how we're gonna accomplish that?
Have not yet. Have not. I don't know how much stuff is getting moved from.
I have no idea.
There's some thought process about not what's going to happen, so.
Yeah.
We'll just have to confirm everything yet, really.
We can make a motion for
Sorry.
Hmm?
No, we need to
that.
make a motion.
Change order.
Yes, need to get this bill paid, so I make a motion for the, work order, change order details at $7,250.
And a motion second for the change order for $7,250. Any more discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carries 3-0. Is there any ADA or Title VI concerns being done for us today? Right. Let the record reflect it. Isn't any? Has to review items up here. The biorefinery, final decision, LC, the bionutrients, Ford meter box, and then 4 more letters opposed to carbon capture. Anything else we can go more of the recommendation this morning?
I say, yeah.
Give you,
Yes, that's it, yeah.
my bird contract approved by the county attorney. You approved moving forward, so I have reached out to Burke and told them we need to get started.
They were able to get that time crunch.
They tell me they are. We kind of started after
Yeah.
Mark approved it, because we have to have it done before August. Done and approved by FEMA. Now, if they don't approve it fast enough, I don't know if that's our fault, as long as we get it in our end. So,
What Keith's alluding to, we ordered something, and then
in
they,
2024,
2024, and they said, no, we're not. And then they came back again a few weeks ago and said, well, have you started this? Have you ordered it? So we've had to do some crunching here and get it done faster, so. Anything else?
Wait,
No?
I'm going up. We're going up. All right, I don't know if you announce it, I don't know how it works, I don't see those very often, but on the agenda, we'll bring it up, if okay.
Victory.
My name is Josh Leffel. Good morning, Commissioner Nickum, Commissioner Dawes, and Commissioner Ross. A group of citizens that have joined me here today oppose the plans that Pro Biorefining on the part of Vault 4401 have to turn our county into a CO2 dumping ground for their proposed carbon capture sequestration project.
About 3 months ago, we were made aware of a letter of support that Poet Biorefinery was encouraging people to sign to show support of their CCS project. Several of us took offense to the last sentence in the Poet's letter of support that reads, and I quote, "We respectfully encourage your support as Poet advances this important project." We were under the impression that when this letter was written, Poet's project had a moratorium or a pause placed on it. So the fact that they could openly state that they were in fact advancing it not only seemed rude and disrespectful, but possibly even illegal, at least in my own personal opinion. This prompted us to create our own CCS letter of opposition, with the goal being to show all of you just how much opposition there really is to Poet's CCS project. To say that our attempts were successful would be an understatement. This letter brought the community together. Neighbors were pitching in by requesting several letters at a time in hopes of getting them signed, and they did. Complete strangers became instant friends as they offered their help to get letters distributed throughout our county. Businesses then began to pitch in by making them available to their customers to sign. The community became united in the CCS letter of opposition campaign. We received requests to hand deliver these letters, and we did. We were asked to mail these letters to people who wanted them, and we did. We received requests to email the letters to people. We did that. We had an online version set up, and we had people sign from all over the country. Those we did not count, but it showed just how badly CCS is despised from one end to the US to the other. Finally, our favorite part of this campaign was holding our public CCS letter of opposition signing events, especially those held at restaurants. We got to sample the menus all over the county.
Very good.
It's your fault. But it showed just how bad I skipped. So we were blessed to meet several concerned citizens at these events, which led to some great conversations. During all this time, I was only approached by one person that was in favor of CCS. One. Not two, not three, not five, not 10. One. And you know what? He has his land signed up for the project and stands to make a profit from CCS. It seems like the only people who are for it stand to make money from it. Did you know that the people who are signed up make up just 0.0002% of the population? It's true. That's the math. That's how it works out. That 0.0002% of our county would be the deciding factor of the health, safety, and well-being of the 99.9998% of the citizens of this county. Let that sink in for a little bit. We very much appreciate the work that all of you have done by putting a moratorium in place in order to have the time to craft an ordinance that can best protect the citizens in which you serve. This is what we voted for. Other counties, they're not so lucky, and we are constantly reminded by them just how blessed we are to have you, and we share those same thoughts and feelings. Nothing that is truly worth having will come without a lot of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. No good deed goes unpunished. We understand and we are infuriated that you have been punished for standing up for our safety, our health, and our happiness. You stood up for our rights, and now you are being sued for that. It almost feels that if we, the people, are also being sued just for trying to protect our families and our land. Please do not let their desperate scare tactics keep you from doing right by the people that you serve. With that being said, we would like for you to have our first delivery of signed CCS letters of opposition. Everyone that signed these letters opposes the practice of CCS. Every one of these pieces of paper represents a real person with real concerns, belonging to a real family, and has the very real power to cast a vote come next election. We ask you to please continue to be the amazing group of commissioners that you are by doing all that you can to keep us safe from the risks of projects like CCS. Thank you so much for everything you have done for us. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to stand before you this morning to hear our concerns and for accepting these CCS letters of opposition. You are not alone during these stressful times you're about to enter into. We have your backs. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Dave Kirkland. Monkey, let me know that when I think something's wrong, you're gonna be the first one to hear about it. Well, as my life seasoning has given me some wisdom, I feel like when people are doing a good job, somebody needs to call them out in public, and that's what I'm here to do this morning. Kind of reiterating some of what Mr. Leffel said. You know, you guys have stood up for us. The planning commission, you know, they had the hearings, they listened, they made a decision. You guys backed them up. And I'd like to thank you for that. I'd also like to thank Cheryl. She's a commissioner and she's taken on this project at the health department, and looks like we're gonna be pretty close to on budget, thanks to her efforts and a few others that are on her committee. And lastly, I'd like to suggest to Mr. Leffel that while the efforts are great to back up everything that you have done for your constituents, at this point, the boys in Indianapolis and girls representatives in the state house, they're the ones that are shoving this down our throat. They're the ones that need to hear this. You know, I mean, coming in here and taking up more time in your meeting is, to me at this point, kind of a moot point. You're already standing up for us. So I guess my question is, how do we get to Indianapolis and let them hear our voices? You know, it's kind of disappointing. I'm going to throw our former senator under the bus here. He's a pretty affable guy, but he completely let us down, in my opinion, because he left us in one whole session of the state legislature with absolutely no representation. So stay the course. To reiterate, Mr. Leffel says, we got your back because you stood up for us. And I'd just like to ask everybody that agrees to give you a hand.
To Dave, I would say, yes, Andy Zay, the former state senator, did work at for a lot of these economic development projects. How do you get the message to Indianapolis? The current state senator, Nick McKinley, is the one that you would want to be in contact. You know that your hometown representative, Larissa Sweet, backs the community as well. I know that Nick McKinley is working to bring in some of these Green New Deal projects over in Grant County, such as the data center. And I've been fighting solar in Huntington. That got me off my seat. And I stand with you and would do the same and work to represent the citizens of Wabash. In the interim, contact your representative for Senate, Nick McKinley.
Anything else? Time for board commissioner this morning. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0.